Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel on this sunny April afternoon. It was meant to be raining, so I'm super happy that it's not, because I've got another little project planned. Just going to talk you through what we're doing in part one of this video, and then we'll catch up shortly to show you the results. So the first thing we're doing is I'm actually replacing my bonnet badge. I managed to get hold of a carbon one, which I thought was appropriate because of the fact that my car has all the other carbon options on it. As you can see, we've just got a standard badge here, so I'm going to be swapping that out. I've also modified my carbon one so it looks slightly different, so you'll see that shortly, because I didn't like the way it looked stock. And the second piece of work is a little bit of custom work. So if we come around the back here, so you can already see that my car has some satin black vinyl wrap on the engine cover panel here. The reason why I did that is because, well, I like my cars to look a little bit different from complete stock, but in a subtle way. But also, if you notice with my car, obviously we've got the dark glass on the roof running down the back of the car all the way to the tail, and I just thought it made much more of a cohesive line to have sort of a black finish all the way to the back of the car. So today we're actually going to be adding a logo on here. It's going to be a 3D logo. I've had a play with wrapping vinyl before, so we'll see how it goes. I actually intend to remove this whole panel. I've figured out how to do it, and yeah, I'm going to make a 3D McLaren logo essentially that goes on here. Quite a subtle one. So we'll be back shortly and we'll get to see the results. So I'll see you in part two, guys. Okay guys, welcome back to part two of the video. So as you can see, we're kind of like halfway through the rewrap of the back end of the car, and my 3D logo has come out really rather well. I had it cut out for me by a very good company who basically do logos. You can find them on Facebook, and they are called Divine Handcraft. They made me basically the logo out of a sticky back vinyl type material, which I've then stacked up to create a 3D one. So that's come out really nicely here. I've got to trim the vinyl next. There's a little bit of a line in here, but we're just going to remove that. I should be able to tug that out quite easily. But I've got most of the air bubbles out of the rest of it. Really quite happy with the look of that. So we'll catch you again in part three, guys. I'll also show you how the bonnet badge came out. That turned into a bit of a disaster, but I'll tell you a little story about that in part three. Alright, see you again soon. Okay, so here we are, guys, back for part three of the video. So some ups and downs in this little cosmetic upgrade effort. So as you can see, we now have the carbon fibre badge in place, which I'm really happy with. And obviously I've modified this one because they don't come with a red swoosh. So that's been done, and I'm quite happy with that. Unfortunately though, it caused a major issue, which was completely unforeseen. So essentially, I showed due diligence and tried to do everything 100% properly, and I masked off the area around the original badge before I pried it off, and then cleaned the area with alcohol before I stuck the new one on. But then when I peeled the masking tape off, it had a really odd reaction with the PPF, and the whole area about yay wide all around here was all bubbly, and yeah, nightmare. So I couldn't stand the sight of it, so I ended up taking off all the PPF on the bonnet. So unfortunately the bonnet is now PPF free. I'm going to have to get that redone at some point soon. Obviously the rest of the car is still PPF'd. You can't really see a difference in colour tone, so it's not a massive issue. But although now my car obviously is without protection, and the PPF has done its job, because the bonnet is literally completely free of any sort of marks anywhere, so it does work. I don't know what happened there. That was strange, annoying, but obviously the badge is on and it's just one of those things. So coming around to the back, we've been fairly successful on this little cosmetic upgrade, this little personalisation. So it's all done. Back panel's completely wrapped now. I've tucked the wrap around all the corners. I bought a fairly decent quality wrap, a 3M one, because generally you can't go wrong with 3M products in my experience. And I'm really happy with the result. Just something that makes the car look that little bit more individual. It's quite subtle. Again, my old style of OEM Plus, I believe. I wanted to take this whole panel off, but it was such a pig. There are 2 bolts that retain it under here. They were fairly easy to get to, and then 6 bolts along the top, but there are 2 screws under here that are kind of go this way, and there's literally no space to get any sort of Torx screwdriver or Torx ratchet. I've got several small Torx tools, but none of them would fit, and I couldn't get it undone. So in the end, I had to work with it on the car. I just bought a decent size roll of the vinyl, cut it out to shape by laying it on the car and using the actual car itself as a guide, leaving myself a reasonable amount of access. Tucked it all in. The 3M vinyl is really easy to work with. Gave it a little bit of heat in a few places just to get a nice neat finish. There's a couple of tiny little nicks on the corners here, which are always hard to get absolutely perfect, but to be honest, I can't tell a huge amount of difference between what I've done and what was done professionally previously. So I'm quite happy with my effort in that regard, and happy with the overall result. So there we go, guys. Another little bit of personalisation on the car, and I'll catch you next time when I think up something else to do.